All right, welcome everyone tonight. My name is Summer Livingston, and I'm really excited to do something different tonight, have a Q&A kind of session or just a chat with a friend of mine named Dr. Melissa Cancel. She is known as the Communication Doc, and she has some great things to share with us. If you are not familiar with who I am, I just want to give you just a quick overview of that so you can kind of see how these two things are going to tie in together, and then she's going to share a little bit about herself. I am a doTERRA wellness advocate, and I probably, if you're watching this, you are a doTERRA user as well. And I've just celebrated my 12-year anniversary with doTERRA, so we've been using oils for 12 years, and really one of my favorite ways to use them is for calming. We've used them for many, many, many things over 12 years, but calming, stress relief, that is one of our top uses. And so that's going to be what we're talking about tonight. I wanted to just introduce Missy to you. I've known her for probably like maybe 24, 25 years. She was
Oh, wow.
actually she was actually my intro to communications professor in college. I took that spring of '99. So she was a young professor back then. And so that's when I met her. And now all these years later, 20 some years later, we go to church together and are now friends and get to do collabs like this with our business. So it's kind of just a neat full circle, right, of
Right.
life. So I'm going to turn it over to you and let you tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I feel like we should start having the circle of life from Lion King come
Yes.
in, with Simba. Yeah. No, thank you, Summer. And I really appreciate Summer being gracious enough to do this. While she's been in business for 12 years, I'm actually just now launching my business, the Communication Doc. And so I'm going to give you a real brief background of who I am. I I'm one of those people that when I was in junior high school, everybody came to me with their problems. I don't know if any of you are like that, but I decided pretty young that I thought I should do something to help people. And so I decided to go and major in psychology with the idea of counseling. And as I was working on my undergrad degree, I decided that I actually took a course in interpersonal communication, which is all about communicating in relationships. And I really loved that because it was very concrete and practical, whereas psychology can be very, very theoretical. And so I ended up deciding to do my master's and my doctorate both in communication with an emphasis in interpersonal communication. And then I came back and started teaching at my alma mater, as Summer mentioned. That's where we first met. And I loved it. I never even thought I would love teaching, and I loved it. But part of the reason I've come to realize that I loved it so much was because it was my perfect job. And I don't know if any of you have your perfect job, but we have to work, or we may have to work, and we may tolerate it, but to have a job that you love is a really unique thing. And so I was teaching at this small private college. I got to pick whatever courses I wanted to teach. I got to design them any way I wanted to. I have an interest in acting and performance, so I got to help with directing plays and had a drama club. But one of the best things was the way that they accommodated to me, over and above what would normally be expected. And the reason why I needed accommodation is I'm actually legally blind. I was diagnosed with a rare incurable eye disease when I was 10 years old. And the result of that is I have a blurred center of vision in both eyes, but that prevents me from driving. So I've never been able to drive. It prevents some other things too. I told Summer earlier, I'm actually looking at the bottom of my computer screen, so I look like I'm looking at the camera instead of actually where the camera is. Otherwise, I look like I'm staring off into space somewhere. So I know that businesses are supposed to accommodate you, but the college was basically, they said, set any schedule you want. We'll work around it so you can get transportation to get back and forth to work, so you can make your life work. After I started teaching there, I married, and my husband already had 5 children, and then we had a child together. And so, life got really complicated then, and they just bent over backward. And in fact, I was the first full-time faculty member, female faculty member, to have a baby. So they didn't even have a maternity policy. And they said, whatever you want to do, we'll do. And unfortunately, that school closed in 2015. And since then, I've struggled to find something that's even remotely meaningful. And I've come to realize that a lot of the reason I've struggled with that is because it's very hard to find someone that has a place to work, that has the flexibility to adapt to you as much as that place did. And I really do need that much adaptation for me to be able to work successfully. So that has led me to trying to decide, okay, I love teaching communication. I have a PhD in it. I have 27 years of teaching experience. How can I teach communication and be able to help people out there, but not have to go somewhere to do it and not have to rely on a school to be able to provide me courses in order for me to do that. And so that's where I got to developing this new communication training and coaching program, which I'm calling the Communication Doc. It's a play on words because I do have a doctorate in communication, but also I'm playing on the idea of when you're sick, you go to the doctor and the doctor helps you figure out what's wrong and prescribes you medicine. Or if you don't go to the doctor and you use essential oils instead, which I always prefer, um, I'm the same way. So people can come to me, I can help you determine what are your problems that you have with communication and then help you fix those problems. Also, as Summer said, my last name is Cancel. My husband's actually Hispanic, so it's pronounced Cancel, but it looks like cancel. So I briefly thought about having my business be Cancel Communications. And then I thought everybody would look at that and think that I wanted to get rid of communication altogether, which is the opposite of what I want to do. And so that's why I stray away from even using my name on any of my social media sites so it's not confusing. I've actually had students who thought my class was canceled when they saw my name on their course roster. So we're avoiding that. And so, as Summer said, we want to talk some about stress and the what are the causes of stress in our lives, what are the effects, and then what are some ways of handling it in addition to what she and I both have to offer to deal with stress. So I'll start, and Summer, you want to jump in anytime. I just did some Google searches, and you could do the same thing and see, what are top causes of stress. And consistently, you're going to see things like forming new relationships, ending relationships, right? Divorce, breakups, even getting married is a top cause of stress, along with, of course, loss of a loved one. Also, the CDC reports that work is a number one stressor for people, and it's actually responsible for over 120,000 deaths each year because people are so stressed and have the physical impacts from that. In addition, if you Google what's the top cause why people get divorced, you're going to find out that the number one complaint that people have is communication, poor communication skills. 65% of relationship breakups, of divorces are attributed to poor communication skills. So if we think about it, I think we all would acknowledge and recognize that, our relationships, whether at work or at home, are a big source of stress. Summer,
Yeah.
you want to jump in
Yeah.
on anything there?
Yeah, so I really love the connection that I start to see when we talk about this. When Missy came to me and was telling me about her business that she was wanting to, that she is starting up. And then we just start talking about oils that can be used, for stress and even for communication. I thought it was just so neat. It just really was something that I hadn't really thought about before. So I like how they tie in. So um, I I'm going to just show you a few of my favorites because favorite oils I like for stress relief. And you talked about marriage, our relationships, might be even a parent-child
Yeah.
relationship. These are all can be sources of stress in our lives, and even think about even with children. Um, all when they're babies, we have stresses that are different from when they're 16-year-olds
Mhm.
getting in a car and driving, right? Or 18 and going off to college, whatever it may be. So the stresses are all different. So I pulled a few of my favorite oils out. I just want to share those really quick. And one of my absolute favorites for stress is adaptive. Have you tried adaptive, Missy? Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So adaptive is our calming blend, and it has both lavender and spearmint in it. And if you saw my post from today or got my email from today, you saw that I'm going to give away some lavender spearmint roller balls tonight. And those are both oils of communication and calming. And so if you are someone who has trouble forming your words, so to speak, or being confident in maybe conflict, areas of conflict where you need to talk to someone about that, and you have a lot of trouble with that, and I can attest to I am that person, 100%. Using spearmint and lavender over the throat, over your heart, on the bottoms of your feet, inhaling it from the palms of your hands, doing a palm balm, we call it. Um, those are just calming and can help give you that confidence when you are in those situations. Well, they're both in adaptive, along with a lot of other different oils. But so this is a great calming one. If you're looking for oils to calm, there are so many that have those properties, that have sedative properties, that have the calming properties to them. And sometimes it takes, you trying a few different ones to see what works for your body. And it might be different for your situation. What's causing your stress? Maybe it's pain, maybe it's physical pain, right? Maybe you're dealing with, just knee or hip issues or whatever, just causing stress. Maybe it's digestive pain. Maybe it's grief. Maybe it's fear, busyness, conflict, migraines. And when you can pinpoint where your stress is starting, then you can look at certain oils for those things. So just really quick, let's say I am super stressed because I've been dealing with digestive issues, which that's kind of a vicious cycle anyway, because stress can cause those as well. Then we want to use something like Digestin, right? Deep Blue for our muscle or joint pain or whatever it may be. A couple of my other favorite ones are Serenity. This is our restful blend. This is lavender, flowery with some vanilla. I love to sleep with this one on me at night. And it just helps to kind of shut off that mind chatter and just, when your brain's moving from all the stress and won't stop. And then another one that I really like, and this is kind of a lesser known one, is Tulsi or holy basil. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about this one really quick. When our adrenal glands, which sit right above our kidneys, are meant to shut off before we go to sleep, or shut down. And if our adrenals are running, through the night, that's when we can't sleep. Okay, that's when we're alert and awake, and it can be causes of insomnia and restless sleep. And Tulsi can help to signal to our adrenals that it is time to rest. So if we have trouble with the stresses of the day just keeping you up, this is a really great one to use. And it smells kind of like clove candy, the old-fashioned clove candy. So reminds me of my grandmother. So those are just a couple of my absolute favorites that I like to use. So if anyone's thinking, well, what could I use for stress times? Those are a couple of great ones to start with. The last one that I wanted to mention is that the adaptive oil does come in a capsule form, and it is not the adaptive oil blend just in a capsule. It's a few choice oils out of this and some botanicals like GABA and ahi flower. And if I take a few or like 1 to 2 of those capsules, I just calm. I calm, like I can just get this wave of calm over my body almost instantly for me personally. And so if you are looking for something, you are put in a situation where you're going into a situation that's going to be stressful, maybe. You've been in a situation that's stressful and you're just stepping out of it and you need to calm. The adaptive capsules are fantastic for that. So like I said, I just wanted to share a few of my favorite things.
No, that's great. And one of the things Summer and I had discussed as we were planning this class was, we don't really think about the connection between our physical health and our relationships, but it really is a very close connection. So I was telling her that I've been for a number of years now going through perimenopause and menopause, and I've experienced all kinds of physical symptoms that I never had before, including pretty intense anxiety, which I'm not an anxious person really. And the physical things happening in me are creating stress and are making it more difficult for me to act as I should with my husband, with my kids. And so the physical issues, whether it be pain or whether it just be, stress because of life circumstances, make it more challenging for you to be able to respond in your relationships like you should. And then it's also the other way around. When you have poor communication in the workplace or at home, you're going to make all of the problems that are natural. When we all have problems, both, I mean, pretty much anytime we deal with people, there's the chance to have problems. So we're all going to face those, but when we can't communicate effectively about them, it's going to make it worse and increase our stress levels, which are then going to affect our bodies physically, right? So we have this constant cycle of we need to deal with physical issues, but we need to deal with relationship issues, and they're going to continue to impact each other if we don't get help in all of these areas. And those are great oils that Summer mentioned. I know there were some of them. What was the one you said is for the adrenals? Because I think I need that one.
Yeah, it's Tulsi or holy basil.
Tulsi?
Tulsi,
Okay.
Tulsi.
Okay. I'll
And
have to look for that one.
yeah, and Kim asked, I did put it in the chat. She asked, where do you put it? I failed to mention it does go right over the adrenals. So if you take your fists and go right on your back, that's about where your kidneys are. So just do it, over the kidney area right there before you go to bed. But yeah, so and you're right, like, sometimes we think, well, what should I work on first? Well, like you said, it's a cycle, and we really have to work on both of them at the same time, right? The stress and the relationships. I was going to ask you or mention to you that I was looking at your YouTube channel, and you have videos on there where you have been posting most recently about relationships. Correct? Can you tell us a
Yes.
little bit about your YouTube channel and what you're going to
Sure.
do with that?
Yes. So I started my YouTube channel actually over a year ago, and my original idea was, well, people spend all these hours on YouTube watching what I would consider to be stupidity. And I thought, well, surely people would want to learn how to communicate better. I've known for years that that's the number one reason why divorces happen. And I'm thinking, oh, people would want help with communication. So I started posting videos and got very little traction. And I learned pretty quickly it's very hard to monetize on YouTube, which is why I decided to actually start my consulting business. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. But I started just posting videos on different topics that I thought were important. So if you go to my YouTube channel, which everything I have YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, everything is under the communication doc, DOC. And if you notice my initial videos, they were last year. And in addition to being a communication professional and also teaching public speaking, I was trying to be perfect, which is also another thing that doesn't happen really in YouTube videos. People want you just to talk to them. So you'll see a difference between my first videos and ones I've posted recently. But my goal is just to try to help people. So I do have products that I'm going to be selling, but I also post free video content. And the ones I've been doing most recently are because a dear friend of mine, her daughter had never dated, is a freshman at college and dated for the first time. And they dated for 4 or 5 months and she got her heart broken. And my friend was saying, well, isn't there something that, can be done to help these kids know better how to handle romantic relationships? And I said, yes, there certainly is. And so I'm doing a whole series of videos right now. I'm probably going to end up with 5 or 6 that I'm calling How to Be Ready for Romance and Avoid a Broken Heart. And they're really designed for teens and young adults to get them thinking about when they are actually ready to get involved in a romantic relationship instead of just jumping in because that's what everybody else is doing or because their hormones are racing, and in the process ending up with broken hearts, because those broken hearts can impact what happens in your later relationships when you actually are ready to have a meaningful, committed romantic relationship. So if you know any young people that I know Summer has kids in that age, but the teen, early adult, you could recommend those videos. I try to give personal examples too to make it very understandable and engaging for young people as well. I also did one recently on adapting to cultural diversity because that's a big topic that's out there as far as, we have people who are so different from us. How can we adapt to them? And I give you just some real basic principles that you can use anytime you're having to deal with people who are very different from you. So that's pretty much what my YouTube is. On Instagram, of course, I'm keeping very short videos. I'm doing more fun things on there, like miscommunication moments that I encounter, proverbs. I even am doing some communication challenges where I'm trying to get young people involved in going out and experimenting with communication. So there are two different approaches for two different audiences.
I love
So
that. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
I'm excited about it.
and as she said, if you know anyone who can use those videos, share her her YouTube videos with them, and subscribe. You'll always get the update when she posts something new for sure. Correct? Yeah.
Yep.
Um, Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, so I wanted to just real quickly explain to you what I'm doing with my business, and that way, if you could benefit from it, that would be great. And if you can't, or if you don't think you need the help, I understand. But maybe you know someone who does. So my goal is to help people get communication healthy. And I'm doing that through a variety of means. One is video recorded training series. One is going to be group coaching sessions where I'll get about 10 to 12 people together and we'll do a weekly Zoom or Google Meets session. And then, like I said, that would run for about 10 to 12 weeks. And then I'm also doing private coaching. So I have a variety of options available and a variety of topics available depending on what people are interested in. I really like the idea of the group training sessions because just like with this, if you have questions, you have the opportunity to ask those. If you watch a pre-recorded video series that I've done, I make everything I do very practical, but you don't have the opportunity to see me, to ask me questions, for me to ask you questions to make sure you're understanding and that you can apply the content. And so I really like that interactive idea. I understand that it doesn't work into everybody's schedule, which is why I have other options available. And I'm doing this individually and corporately. So let's say you're part of a business and you think, hey, I know people who schedule business training. I can go either way with all the different options that I have available. So that's a basic gist of what I'm doing. I did want to jump in a little bit more, Summer, with you just on as we're talking about stress and the effects of stress and all the negative things that can happen from stress, we understand the effects of stress on our body. I mean, to a certain extent, right?
Right.
So, Summer, what are some effects that stress has on us physically?
Oh man. Well, I've yes,
Not all of them, just some.
no, just well, right. Weight gain is a major cause of stress.
Oh, yeah.
Hair loss can be a cause of stress. Not being able to sleep well, irritability, being just irritable with our family and our friends or our coworkers, whoever that may be. There are so many damage to our organs, things we can't see, like hair loss or weight gain, right? But internally our organs are just becoming damaged when we have chronic stress. Now, when we don't have chronic stress, but we just have those up and downs of daily stress here and there, that's a normal thing. And if our body can recover and come back into homeostasis, that healthy body state, then great, then we'll be okay. But it's that chronic stress that can cause a lot of problems.
And that's why usually when people talk about how to handle stress, they're going to go to things that are going to help your physical body, which is extremely important,
Yeah,
like exercise and, controlling your diet to a certain extent. And then of course, people will take medications. We of course would rather go the natural route and
right.
use essential oils,
Yeah.
relaxation. I see a massage therapist who's amazing. Once every 6 weeks, he helps a lot with stress.
Yes. Yes. That's so
Um,
good. Yes.
so we think about the physical effects, but we don't always think about the effects of stress on our communication. So I did some Google research on that, and when we are stressed, we are overly emotional, and when our emotions are engaged, we cannot think clearly to make good choices. So we tend to make poor choices, and when you think about that in regard to communication, we make poor choices about how to communicate with other people. Um, Stress can also have the effect on communication of causing people to withdraw. When you're overly stressed, you might feel like, oh, I just can't even deal with people. I have too much going on. And so you withdraw from communication. You also can become self-absorbed because of stress. You pull yourself into yourself and become self-absorbed. And as a result, you're not good at listening because we can't be good listeners when we're self-absorbed and completely focused on ourselves. You might also start to have passive or aggressive or both behaviors, which we know either extreme or the switch from one to the other are going to have detrimental effects on our relationships. So as you think about the physical effects, which are so obvious, the communication effects are not as obvious, but just as severe, which is why we, as we and Summer and I already said, we need to really approach it from both angles in order to get the best benefit that we can possibly get to reduce stress.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So, those of you on here, I know that you're all oil users who are on here live with us tonight, and most who will probably be watching the recording. So use your oils, use these ones that I mentioned tonight. Do some research. Like I said, there is a plethora of calming oils out there, supplements that you can take, and go, watch Missy's YouTube videos, contact her for any questions you have and any help that you need with that. We're running a little low on time here, so
Okay, so let's get
let's
to our gifts.
yeah, we both
Yeah.
have gifts tonight. So why don't you
Mhm.
go ahead first and share what you are going
Okay.
to do?
So I've developed a downloadable PDF that is completely free, and it's titled How to Immediately Improve Communication with One Powerful Truth. And so I'm not saying that this PDF is going to fix everything with your life, but if you get it and you start taking the content and applying it, you will see improvements in your communication. And all you have to do to get it is email me. So my email address is the communication doc. It's all lowercase all together, the communication doc at gmail.com. And you email me and I will send you the downloadable PDF. And I trust it will be a blessing to you.
Great. And I put that email address in the chat, so
Perfect.
you can get that there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to be giving away 5 ml roller balls of a lavender spearmint blend. They smell like a spa when they're put together. Just roll it over your throat, put on the bottoms of your feet, roll it over your heart, behind your ears, inhale it, like I said, if you need that little boost for good, clear communication, okay? So this is how we're going to do it. We have 6 people on with us. And so I just wrote down the names and I put a number by everyone's name. Missy has no idea what numbers by any name. So I'm going to have you just pick 2 numbers, and those are going to be
Okay.
our 2 winners tonight.
I'm going to go with 2 and 5.
2 and 5. Well, that is a mother-daughter duo, Megan and Carol. So,
Well, there we go.
all right. So you guys get that. I had said that originally, in order to win, you needed to be on live and you needed to subscribe to her YouTube channel and follow her on Facebook. And I realized I can't really figure out
Control
who's,
that.
yeah. So if you guys would
No,
just go
please
do those
do.
things and support Missy, that would be fantastic. But for being on tonight, the 2 of you will get that roller ball from.
Yes, and please share. I've never really had a big social media impact because of my visual impairment. It's challenging for me to surf through things on Facebook and such. So I'm working on building that. So the more people who just follow and then share with everybody you know, then people who need my help and my the benefit of my business can contact me.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to put this recording in YouTube, and I will post it in my oil classroom on Facebook. And Missy will have it and she'll post it, I'm sure, wherever on her platforms as
On my
well. So you
YouTube,
can
yep.
share it. Yeah, you can share the link with anyone who's not able to be on tonight. We have about 4 minutes. Does anyone have a question? We might be able to take 1 or 2 questions. I'll give you a second here. You can unmute yourself and ask it. You don't have to type it into the box.
Well, if nobody asked questions, it means we were just so clear that everybody understands everything and there are absolutely 0 questions.
I really appreciate everyone getting on tonight and
Yes, me as well.
and just
Thank you.
hearing about what we have here for you. Okay, well,
Okay.
I think that's probably it for tonight then. So again, thank you everyone for getting on. Follow on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and I can't wait to see what you do with your business and see the
Yes.
communication doc. And
I'll end with my mantra, which is let's get communication healthy.
sounds good. All right. You guys have a great night.
Thanks.
Bye.